of them mention any homoerotic overtones.
It's the politically correct left-wing media afraid to say afraid to speak the truth.
Is that what it is?
I'm here to put that right.
Well, even if they were, it'd be an interesting slant on that. There's gay astronauts, bored, on the moon. Oh, what shall we do? I know, let's play with each other. An interesting take, if it were true.
I've got one thing I will say that was pretty good. The thing inside the astronaut suit was pretty scary.
It was?
Scary idea. I won't say any more. But it was so effective. One person, this is absolutely true, one person at the screening I was in actually screamed out loud.
Yeah, not surprised.
I bet he was one of your sort, Nathaniel. Thinking about it.
Do you reckon he was a limp wrister?
Thinking about it, thinking back to it now.
Was it a girly scream?
It was high-pitched, girly, effeminate, but it came from a man's mouth.
Ah, the worthless entity.
Pathetic.
Isn't it ridiculous?
And this movie, yet more evidence of the weakness of American military personnel. Any British astronaut would have simply killed his partner, phasered the alien menace, lifted off in the landing craft, and blasted back to Blighty forthwith.
Cup of tea intact and salutes to the Queen.
Back home in time for dinner.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right as usual, Richard.
The director, Gonzalo Lopez Gallego,
Well done.
could be ashamed of himself for spouting this propaganda. And anyway, what business is it of a spick to unsettle the delicate balance of international diplomacy?
Indeed. I don't know what they're doing getting involved in such matters.
How dare he?
Yeah, dare he?
Leave it to the grown-ups.
The Brits.
You said it, not me. You said it, Nathaniel, not me.
Well, surprisingly enough, I'm just second guessing you, which isn't hard to do these days.
So, what's your rating, Nathaniel?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. That's very, very generous. I'm 4 out of 10.
Incredibly harsh. Right, folks, time to get our teeth into a classic movie from the past. And this week, Mr. Shittlebob has deemed it fit to select a movie that is neither old or classic. We're going back as far as 2010 to discuss the box office flop that was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. A brief overview. Scott Pilgrim, a young musician from Canada, begins dating high schooler Knives Chow. However, Scott meets an American girl, Ramona Flowers, who has been appearing in his dreams and becomes obsessed with her, losing interest in knives. While playing in a battle of the bands, Scott is attacked by Matthew Patel, who introduces himself as the first of Ramona's evil exes. Scott defeats Patel and learns from Ramona that in order for them to date, he must defeat all 7 of her evil exes. What did you think of it, Richard?
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Who cares about the emotions and opinions of a bunch of spotty, hormonal, teenage imbeciles?
Quite.
Who cares? I started off, 10 minutes in at a gentle simmer, and by the time the 100 minutes or so had played out, I was in a genuine rage. It was awful.
Well, I'm not going to go as strongly as that, Richard. I didn't enjoy the film. I did think it was kind of cute, but you do have to immerse yourself in the world of a teenage computer geek to enjoy it. I think the direction was sadly lacking in so much that, if you're going to make a kids' film, perhaps the director could have done well to do as directors of animated films do and make it appealing to both adults and children.
Well, that's interesting.
But he didn't do this at all, did he? If you're not a 14-year-old Pac-Man enthusiast, you're not going to enjoy this film.
It was a 15 certificate, I believe. So, I mean, it wasn't even aimed at kids, was it? It was aimed at an older young audience, if you see.
I thought it was very teenage orientated.
Yeah.
And if you're not a teenager, then you're going to struggle to get anything from this film.
Scott Pilgrim actor Michael Cera looks like a younger version of my nan, and as a result, I wanted to punch his lights out.
So you get on with you now.
Can't stand her.
Do you want to expand on that, or should we stick to the film?
Not really.
Okay. I thought it was well produced, Richard. I did like some of the effects. I like the scrolling and the split screens, you know, quite comic-like. But I tell you what, the Batman references and the arcade noises, you know, making references to the classic arcade games, very, very tedious. It just served to alienate me even more from an already very, very teenage film.
The video game stylings also left me really, really cold, Nathaniel. I've never played a video game in my life. I've got no interest in ever playing one. And in fact, I think they should be banned outright. Why would I want to watch a movie that uses them as a backdrop?
Fair enough. Can't argue with that.
The music was horrendous. It was all thundering guitars and young men whose voices hadn't broken, squealing inconsequential nonsense. Reminded me of my wedding night.
Yeah, there's some strange feelings amidst this film for Richard, aren't there?
Well, let me just explain that.
Yeah.
On my wedding night, we shared a hotel with a Joe 90 Appreciation Society.
Right, as you do on the wedding night.
We could hear them.
Yeah.
Hear them through the wall.
Did they hear you through the wall?
I would imagine they did. I went at it like a jackrabbit that night, let me tell you. Like a piston in an ocean liner.
Yvonne was appreciative, was she?
Oh, she loved it. She loved it. She told me.
Okay.
She told me. She called me an animal.
She shouldn't
You're
need
an animal, she said.
She shouldn't need to tell you.
Because that night, you know, it's a special night. So as a treat, I flipped her over and gave it to her like a mammal.
You know how to treat a woman.
I mean, you know, it's burnt into my memory, that night is, Nathaniel.
I bet it's her memory as well, the poor...
Let's get back to the film.
Yes,
you vile creature.
I apologise.
The characters, they all think they're so trendy and with it, with their funny coloured hair and their stupid clothes. They look ridiculous. They look like a bunch of clowns who'd really let themselves go.
Well, it was just typical, wasn't it? It's the film is absolutely awash with, as you said, acne-ridden teenagers.
Oh.
We don't want to associate with them at the best of times. You don't want to see them on the movie screen.
No. Scott Pilgrim, the character, was meant to be in his early 20s.
Really?
Yes, and yet to begin with, he's very interested in a 17-year-old Chinese girl. Now that is simply offensive.
Why do you deem that so offensive?
The age difference, the different races, it's not right.
You leave me bewildered again.
It's just not right, Nathaniel. You can't think of anything to say because you know that I'm correct.
No, you're so astonishingly incorrect that I can't find the words to express how I feel.
The movie's message is that violence will get you what you want. It's totally inappropriate. Totally inappropriate.
I guess in some way you may have a point on that score, Richard.
I mean, even a limp-wristed pacifist daydreamer such as yourself must agree with that. Nathaniel.
Yeah, I do find myself aligned with that somewhat. It's not hardly an example to set to your children, is it? If you want to get a girlfriend, go out and beat people up.
This was pornography, Nathaniel. It was visual pornography. It was oral pornography. It was video game porn. It was violence porn. It was Chinese girl porn. It was disgusting.
You didn't enjoy it then?
I felt compelled to attend confessional the day after watching this movie.
Really?
And I'm not even Catholic.
Well, did it work? Did it cleanse you of your dirty feelings?
I was thrown out.
Was
You
you?
wouldn't listen to me.
No?
It threw me out.
But you were through out the pot?
First question that the priest asked, are you Catholic? I said no. Out! How's that for the Christian spirit?
Sadly lacking, but non-surprising.
No.
What do you give the film, Richard?
Oh. I mean, we can't give minus marks, can we?
No, I think that's a bit out of order.
Simply because, as you said, quite rightly, it was well constructed, it was well crafted. It's a 2 out of 10.
I can't be as scathing as that. There's not much to enthuse over, but there's not much to get highly critical about either. Bland, 5 out of 10.
Okay, folks, this is the part of the show where we talk about something topical from the news pages. And this week, we're going to be talking about David Cameron's proposal, the British Prime Minister, to stop the benefits of parents whose children continually play truant or cause disruption in the classroom. I'm just going to read you a brief extract taken from the BBC News website. It says, the Prime Minister vows to tackle discipline, saying parents of children who continually misbehave should face real consequences. And it's a quote from him, I've asked our social policy review to look into whether we should cut the benefits of those parents whose children constantly play truant. Yes, this would be a tough measure, but we urgently need to restore order and respect in the classroom, and I don't want ideas like this to be off the table. Strong stuff from Cameron there, Nathaniel. Thoughts?
Well, I know you do consider me to be some sort of nauseous, left-wing, wishy, let-you sleep sort of person.
Mung bean muncher. You forgot that one.
Okay, thank you very much. But I am actually in favour of this proposal. It has a good intent, and I'm certainly not averse to the idea of some kind of punishment and getting something done about something that's clearly wrong. My doubts are that I don't know how enforceable it actually is. It's one of these kind of loose ideals that can't actually be pinned down and enforced. I mean, what the teacher's going to do, carry notebooks around, making notes on how often little Billy turns up for maths and English each week.
I think you'll find that's called a register, Nathaniel. They've been around for several hundred years.
Yeah, but it's hard to keep on top of. You know, you missed 2 lessons this week, that's 40% of your benefits. Oh no, hang on, he was 20 minutes late for science as well. Oh, that's 50%.
Oh, I see.
He just turned up for PE last week, so that's 45%. How enforceable is it? I'm not enforceable at all. What do you think about these proposals yourself?
Well, I think that Mr. Cameron is absolutely right. Cut off the head of the Hydra. Let's watch it bleed. That's what I say.
Yeah, I knew you'd be in favour, but I had my suspicions that you'd be wanting even stronger enforcement.
Well, I would go further, Nathaniel. You're